Hey friends, Frankie and Brad here in Casper's Kitchen where we cook music. Brad and I are going to chat today about a topic that really affects everybody. Your first guitar versus the guitars you own today, the differences, and guitars that we've all bought because we were influenced by someone who played them. Kick us off, Brad.
You know, the first guitar I ever had, my parents bought, it was a hollow body Greco. It wasn't a bad guitar, it was something I could learn on, and actually was not hard to play. So, in respect, to me, that's the most important part of it. If you want to learn a guitar, it's got to be something you can play.
Well, the Grecos were made in the Fujigen factory, which was the upper scale, along with Matsumoto, the sister company. And Fujigen built some really high-end guitars. They later become Fender Japan, but definitely a hollow body.
Yeah, a hollow body. I was 14 years old, and when I was 18, about to graduate from high school, my parents offered to buy me a car, and I said, I'd rather have a guitar.
Wow.
And they asked me what I wanted, and I told them
Wow.
a gold top Les Paul. And mainly because I'd seen this classic photo of Johnny Winter wearing a gold top out, and I said, that's the guitar I want.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, that was influenced by one of my guitar heroes.
I guess my first guitar was also an electric. It was a Harmony Stratotone, and it's still in the family. My son has it, and the strings had to have been, a half inch off the fretboard. My fingers bled trying to learn how to play it. Literally bled more than once, and it just was so hard to play. Sounded great, and then I guess the first guitar player that really influenced me to want to play like was in the 80s was Rick Emmett of Triumph, a Canadian band, and one of the guitars he played in the Allied Forces tour was a Vantage 12-string, neck through 12-string, 24 fret, and I looked for years to find that guitar, because Rick Emmett was my hero, and then when I got the guitar, I realized that I really am not a great 12-string player. But it just shows you that we all tend to copy our influences.
Oh, yeah.
And the guitars that I bought over the years that were played by different artists that I admired are just astronomical. I've got Gretsch's, Gibson, Flying V's. How many people have played Flying V's, and you've got a V as well, and you've got SG's. But we tend to, as we get older, we tend to learn that the more, to some extent, and I want to be careful how I say this because things are changing, but in our day, the more expensive guitars were certainly the better playing guitars.
Yeah.
When you got into the Gretsch's and the Gibsons and the Fenders and, some of the higher end acoustical brands, Martins, you certainly got what you paid for. I think today with the CNC machines, that's a changing world because somebody that can program a CNC machine can make a quality guitar regardless of what they charge for it.
Now, in the early 70s, I actually bought a Fender Stratocaster. And sadly, it was a horrible guitar. And from what I have read, that was not their best period.
Yeah.
Later, I did get two more Strats, and they both are just great playing guitars.
Well, the 70s for Gibsons have a history of of being terrible years for quality issues in the 70s. Not to say that you will find some great 70s players, but in the collector world, people do not run for 70s Gibsons. It's just and Gretsch's the Gretsch guitars of the 50s. One of the quality issues they had is the binding would often come apart, and I know I searched for years for a Gretsch Super Axe. It was a guitar that I really wanted, and a lot of those that I saw in the process of finding the right one, the binding was just in terrible shape. But I think a lot of the older guitars that we tend to ooh and ah about today, when we really are honest with ourselves, there were some quality issues that we all knew about.
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I bought a white Gibson Les Paul, custom 3 pickups, great playing guitar until the neck twisted. It would not stay in tune. I took it back and they contacted Gibson, who said they could fix it, but I wouldn't have the guitar back for 12 to 18 months.
Damn.
And I thought, a year and a half? And so a friend of mine offered to buy. He said, I'll give you $400 and my Gibson SG for that guitar. He said, I think I can fix it. Well, I did that, and 2 days later, I'm driving home from work, and a guy on the radio says, we don't normally do this, but it concerns a white Gibson Les Paul. And I thought, what? And they said a white Gibson Les Paul was lost on Highway 29. And I thought, no way. It can't be. And I called a friend. He said, yeah, he took that guitar to his band practice, came outside, laid it on his hood, and they said, hey, we got to have a meeting. When he came back out, it was dark, didn't see it, got on the highway, and his girlfriend, who was following him, said, honey, I think your muffler fell off because I ran over it.
Oh, Jesus.
That's when he realized it wasn't his muffler, it was the guitar.
Wow. It's a funny story.
So it was probably 22 years later, a guy called me and said, there's a guy in Reidsville who said he found this guitar on the highway and wanted to sell it. It was a white Gibson Les Paul.
Wow.
I didn't go check it out. I mean, I figured 20 years of that twisted neck didn't get better.
Twisted necks, sometimes, and I've seen Sam Moss do this in Greensboro, you can take and get the neck soaking wet and hang it up on a guitar hanger, and the body will twist back to its normal shape. That tends to work some, but other than that, you're going into wetting them and getting out heat guns and working with them, and it can be done, but it's almost in all cases you're going to damage the paint if it's painted.
Yes.
And you're either going to repaint it or not. But in any case, we've rattled on enough. Brad, anything?
I think we covered it for our first guitars.
Subscribe to our site. Give us a couple of thumbs up. We need your subscriptions. We're growing. As always, we really thank you for your time. And please, have a good day.